Hello and welcome to the first part of a new Stellaris tutorial series, which is straight to YouTube, which is unusual for me. So, the first thing to do to start a game is a new game, of course. Now, a lot of people, me included, would recommend for your first game you play as United Nations of Earth to learn the whole game. You know, it's a decent thing to do. So, but maybe you do want to create your own custom nation. Maybe you've got an idea how you want to play already. So you'll simply click the create new button and select it. So you'll go through your pick and appearance. So let's say you want some capitalist rock people. Let's go. We'll pick. Yeah, sure. Actually, no, I'll go with this dude. This doesn't matter at all. It is all. Lithoids do have some minor differences. Such as not eating food, eating minerals instead. So, you name your species. Capitalist. I can't spell. So, capitalist rocks. Plural, wait, multiple. Oh, okay, fine. Then I'll see what plural that will be. This is all for how you want to be named. And this will be stuff that belongs to you, what it be named. You can write a biography here, but it doesn't show up anywhere, so it's not important. You go through all these, a lot of name lists. We'll pick a random lithoid one. This is what your ship will have in the start, so now HMS, USS, we'll leave that as ISS for now because I don't really have anything. So, traits. You start with a default one for lithoids, here we go, with the minerals of the food and those bonuses. This is the only species type with a different thing currently. I do have to add them in the future. So, up to 5 this is fairly simple. Up to 5 trait picks. You have to make sure you hit you stay within 2 points. The way this works is, say you pick ingenious. There's all sorts here. What I'm going to say for these is, although you could min-max, I much prefer, these are exclusive to lithoids by the way, I much prefer to go by what makes sense. So, you know, they're capitalists, so you go with the capitalistic thing. But so, okay, let's say we pick 50, trait picks left to 0, which means we can't continue like that. But then if you wanted to also have intelligent, that's not findable because it's in -2. You've got to take some negative things to bring that back up. So if you make them pregnant, it's 0 again. It has to be at least 0 to all positive to go. So yeah, we can't do that for instance. We'd have to have that and there you go, that's 0, that would work. So we'll just leave that as is. Name and class. Now the way this works. So this is where what your planetary preference is at the start. You can get technology later on that will improve it. You can terraform and all that much later on in the game. So yeah, you pick continental. Continental will be preference, but you'll still be able to settle these with very any negatives. These would be, I think it's if you're wet. If you pick this, or else this one will be, and then all the dry ones, you'll get some more negative. Habitability works as the maximum amount of happiness your pops can have. Your home will be 100% if you were a continental. And a continental you settled would be 90%. These would be 70%. These would be much lower, 20 or 30%. So yeah, you pick a homeworld name and a star name. You can obviously pick random. Starting system, it can be random. You can decide if it's a trinary binary system if you really want to specify. The Neb system, which is one of the inbuilt empires normal starting system. The Sol system, which is quite self-explanatory. That's our solar system. Void Dwellers will always be a starting menu system. Void Dwellers origin. Oh, there's a new starting origins I didn't know about. These are some of the origins which I shall explain a bit later on. So, pick a city type. This is purely cosmetic. It looks like the window in the background. Origins. There are a bunch of origins. Now, so possible unification. That's the boring default one. Access for few more pops too. I ain't going to detail of all of them, but they have various things that often require specific ethics to be able to hit. Some of them are harder than others. It is like a challenge one because your homeworld will just explode. I don't think there's an especially capitalistic one. We will just go plus mission education, I guess. Let's go. Government and ethics. 8 morphologies you can pick from. And also a bunch of these. So you have 3 hit points. If you pick guest Gestalt, that takes all 3. And that's how you become a hive mind or a machine intelligence. You can be robots. But yeah, most people will pick, say, a fanatic ability and a just normal one. But you can go 3 of these. Now the way these work, you can't do things that are directly opposed, but you can do stuff that are next to each other like that. Or like this and this, for instance, each choice of 3. And you pick types, and depending on what you do, like if you're a fanatic egalitarian, you can only be democracy, for instance. And you can do a couple of different things if you're that. So these will affect what you can do, depending. Now, there are various bonuses for these civics. You pick 2, you can unlock a 3rd one later on in the game. It costs a few influence to get, but that's not. However, I tend to just pick based on what fit is better for the role play. So we're going for capitalists, so it should be fanatic materialists. And shall we go a bit authoritarian? Now we'll go for Megacorp because that makes no sense. Now, Megacorp, Machine Intelligence, and Hive Mind each have their own unique civics, and they work a bit differently to these. These ones are functionally the same. Basically, the way they work. I'll give you a second. So, democracy, it says there, election every 10 years. Democracy in Empire in this game is very underdeveloped, and it doesn't really matter at all who is your leader. Oligarch, exactly the same except 20 years. Dictatorial, ruler for life, and then he dies and there's an election. Imperial, you have a successor already decided. Hive Mind as well. Hive Mind, everyone's the same sort of thing, and there's various things you can do for that. Machine Intelligence, well, it's just a robot empire with their own various things there. We will go back to being Megacorp, and you've got all sorts. Some of them will have slightly different things. So you're playing as a mega corporation, which I don't think good actually. Yeah, mega corporation's obviously a big company. You elect you have an election for the CEO. You get trade agreements with people, and you build branch offices on their planets. There are certain things like criminal heritage, for instance, means you don't have to get permission to build them. So we'll just go with what should we go with? Ruthless competition, and we'll go for populations. Why not? We will not be playing these guys when we go in because
to live is to consume.
This will be the voice that announces stuff happening in game. There's various ones. It'll pick one based on your thing, but you can then change it to whatever you want. Empire name. Okay. Then flag. Now, these colours will determine the colours of your borders, and this will be what appears over your area that you own. Still only like, I want that. That will do. Ship appearance, cosmetic again with some cool ones. We'll go Lithoid because Lithoid is the coolest ship set in the game. Literally no difference between them, just all difference. Ruler, pick them if you ruler, pick their thing. You can change what they look like, change what their room is. Sometimes you can change these, depends what species type you have. And yeah, you can save once all those are cut in. And that's it, you have done. You click done, and that's where you can start the game, which is where we'll start part 2 of our tutorial. So subscribe for that.